Currently sat in front of Hurst Castle. Today I'm walking from Keyhaven to Hurst Castle, back again along the coast to Lymington, and then circulating back on myself. It's probably going to be around 25 kilometers depending on how many detours I take, but so far it's been really great. The weather is perfect, nice sunny day but not too hot. I started off the walk parking in Keyhaven long stay car park. There's loads of spaces here and there's some public toilets which were free, which is ideal. I then walked to the beach, Hurst Beach, which was very nice. And as you're walking on Hurst Beach, you basically have the sea on your right hand side and then the mountain lake on your left hand side as you're walking towards the castle. Some other things to bear in mind: the pebbles are quite loose. They're big pebbles, but they are quite loose. So if you find it challenging to walk on that sort of terrain, that's just a piece of information for you to factor in. But that being said, it's pretty flat and it's really nice as you're walking down the beach that you can see Hurst Castle in the distance. Mountain Lake is also very scenic and calm, as you'd expect from a lake, and saw some swans, which was pretty cool. Some nice boats stocked up there as well. As for now, I'm just having a quick stop, gonna have some water, gonna walk back down the beach and head towards Lymington. Something else that was really cool, because it's such a clear day today, the visibility of Isle of Wight and specifically the Needles is perfect. So definitely chosen a great day to do this walk. But I do need to pick up the pace quite a bit now because I've been taking it pretty slow, enjoying the views. Also, Hurst Castle has immense amounts of history. Now, I'll hold my hands up, I don't know a lot of history, but whilst I'm going on these walks, I'm trying to educate myself to the places that I visit. So I'm going to share a couple of facts with you that I've just learned about Hurst Castle. It was built by Henry VIII to repel a possible French invasion. So it was stacked with guns and essentially protecting Southampton and Portsmouth. Hurst Castle was constructed between 1541 and 1544 as one of Henry VIII's device forts, a series of artillery castles to protect England after he broke from the Catholic Church. It was strategically placed at a narrow point in the Solent to defend against enemy ships trying to reach Southampton and Portsmouth. King Charles I was imprisoned before his execution in 1648 during the English Civil War. King Charles I was held prisoner at Hurst Castle for 19 days before being transported to London for trial and execution. It's one of the few castles in England with such direct connection to a monarchy downfall. And it was constantly upgraded for over 400 years. It was modernised to keep with changing military technology. Very, very cool. I have no doubt there's so much more history to Hurst Castle, which I'm going to research. But I hope you enjoy this video. I appreciate you being here, and let's carry on with the walk. All right, let's get stuck into this walk. So as I mentioned previously, I parked at the Keyhaven car park. I highly recommend parking there. However, I noticed as I walked down, there was some closer parking, which I believe was free. Loads of vans parked up here, people getting out paddleboards, etc. But I don't know how busy that parking would get in peak summer. So I would still recommend going to the long stay, and then obviously the toilets as well is a great bonus. You go straight down to Hurst Beach, and I went immediately to the water. I love to hear the waves crashing on the rocks. And this view in particular I thought was really cool, seeing all the fishermen do their thing. It's always great to take a minute when you're on the walks to appreciate all of the scenery around you. Here you can see me walking down towards Hurst Castle. As I mentioned, the stones are challenging to walk on, but it is very flat and it's a very pleasant walk. You've got the lake on your left hand side, and the contrast of the still lake and then the sea on the right hand side I thought was really epic. There's probably not many walks where you have immediately lake on the left and then sea on the right. Here you can see Hurst Castle. I was here at around 10 AM, so that was a positive because I beat the rush of people. What I didn't realise is right here you can grab a ferry across from Keyhaven. So if the stones are challenging, grab the ferry. It's a great alternative. It drops you off right in front of the castle entrance where there's a cafe as well. I didn't get a coffee this time around because I'd pretty much just had one, and I didn't go into the castle, but I'm sure it's amazing, and I'm sure you get a way better feel for the history. Maybe next time I'll actually try and go in. The lighthouse is looking amazing there, and check out how close we are to the Isle of Wight. I literally felt like I could touch it. Here we are continuing the walk. We're heading in the direction of Lymington, and we're going to go through the marshes. First passing a lot of fishermen's boats. You can do tours on these boats. Again, maybe something for the future. Approaching the yacht club, and this path follows the water around. Here we are coming across the first bit of wildlife. I was very shocked at how sharp these horns looked, but I do like how it goes from white into black tips. I thought that was very cool. Continuing here, checking out the scenery. The landscape was amazing. Looking at the boats, keeping an eye out for other wildlife, birds, and just listening to all of the sounds around me. The gravel paths made it very easy to walk on. At this point, I was just having a great time. To be honest, the whole walk I was having a great time. But I'm getting some footage here of the marshes. I'm walking right next to them. There was a path on the top as well, but I decided to walk on the lower one for as much as I could to be right next to the marshes. Capturing some cows, just grazing, enjoying life. I thought this was a pretty cool shot. You can see the marshes quite clearly, and then I captured this swan flying and landing in the water. It's always cool seeing swans fly because they're just so massive and you don't really see it that often. I actually was quite happy that I managed to capture that last minute. I saw it coming in, I was like, quickly get the camera out. Some more shots of the marshes here. I've not really walked next to marshes before, so I found it quite cool. And some horses here, just chilling, taking a break, having some water, having some food, which is really important when you're on these long walks. Factor in little 5-minute breaks here and there, makes a massive difference. Not too many people around, but everyone was very friendly, smiling at walkers as I passed by. That's another thing that I try to do and encourage everyone to do. When you're out on these walks, smile at people, say hello, especially if someone's walking on their own. You never know how much of a difference it can make, just giving them a smile, so I definitely encourage everyone to do that. Now we're approaching Lymington, and check out these yachts. They are absolutely ginormous. I walked through the dockyard and now the bottom of Lymington. Never been to Lymington before. The bottom part is really nice. You can see this big open field here. The houses were really cool, and the cobbled streets actually reminded me quite a lot of Devon or like a Cornish town. These houses, the colourful houses. I was really enjoying this part of the walk. I kind of wish I spent maybe a little bit more time just going into the little shops. There was loads of unreal, like, sweet food shops. So yeah, temptation was everywhere, but I made my way and got an iced oat milk latte, which is probably one of my go-to summer coffee drinks. The actual high street itself in Lymington isn't the best. It's got like a busy road running through the middle of it. But anyways, we're leaving Lymington now. We're walking past the church. This part of the walk is more roads, however, still very nice. Taking in the scenery around me, passing some flowers, loads of cottages, and the houses are really cool as well. I always smell flowers when I go past them. I feel like you have to do that. And even though I'm walking on a road, it's actually still quite scenic. So here, these flowers are cool because you usually see bees flying in and out of them, and I like bees. I think taking a second to watch bees do their thing and collect honey is, it's quite cool. We're back at the marshes now, but this time round we're going to walk on the other side. The tide has gone out, and the variation in how they impact the scenery was quite cool. I really enjoyed seeing the contrast here of what it looked like in versus out. The way back on the opposite side of the marshes is more woodland, but you can see the paths are still great. I didn't encounter any bogs. Fortunately, we've had quite a bit of sunny weather. It's in June at the moment, and I came across this tree and I thought, it looked so magical and mystical. I had to film it, and I spent a bit of time just like looking at this tree, and I was like, super cool. Continuing here, we're on our way back now. I'm actually still feeling very good. The walk wasn't challenging, and overall I was just having a great time. Didn't listen to anything because I find that takes away from taking in the scenery around you and listening to the sounds. Found this dude chilling in the road, and I actually moved him to the side because I didn't want any cyclists to squash him. But very interesting looking caterpillar there. And this is the final kilometre, and I'm about to do a review of the walk. So I hope you've enjoyed these clips and enjoy my summary. Alright, that is a wrap for the walk. I really enjoyed it. I'm about 24 kilometres in and have 1 kilometre left, so it will be 25 in total, about 15 miles. I wanted to do a brief summary of the walk. I hope you've enjoyed the clips I've got so far. I would say the difficulty of the walk is pretty easy, other than the distance. It's flat the whole way, apart from the only elevation I encountered was up Lymington High Street. The actual terrain itself is really good. It's all gravel, couple of paths through forest, but easy to walk on. I really like the fact that you can quite easily change the distance. So obviously I went down to Hurst Castle, came back, walked around the marshes, walked to Lymington, came back and walked around the other side of the marshes. But you could quite easily not go to Hurst Castle and walk around the marshes. You could just go to Hurst Castle and back. I also like the fact that the walk around the marshes is circular, so you get different scenery both ways. Overall, very happy with how it's turned out. It hasn't rained, so that's a massive positive. And finally, I'd say the last positive is there's loads of wildlife. I literally saw horses, cows, so many different types of birds, and yeah, I love that so much. So definitely recommend checking out this walk. I'll leave details in the description. If you made it this far, that is epic. I really appreciate you. I hope these walks and these videos inspire you to get outdoors, and yeah, consider subscribing to keep up to date for future videos. I am planning on doing some pretty epic walks. I'm also treating these as a little bit of training because I'm going to do a 100-mile, hopefully, walk spread across a week from somewhere near Plymouth down to Land's End. So that's going to be in August. I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.